So Sara J. Maas was on the Call Her Daddy podcast, and it was such an amazing podcast to watch. I mean, for starters, we're getting three new books, right? First one being the end of October, second one the beginning of January, and the third book, she hasn't started writing it yet, so we're still probably looking at another year or two for that to get released. As far as the TV show goes, obviously it is something that she's thinking about. She wants to get through all these books first, but yeah, she's going to make sure that she is fully invested in a TV show if it ever does happen, because she wants to make sure that what we see on the big screen is exactly what she envisioned in these books. Now, as far as like the way she writes some of these books, I mean, I had a lot of respect for her as an author before I watched this podcast, and that respect has only grown since watching it. I mean, whenever she talked about like her own pregnancy, right, and how it was supposed to just bring so much joy into her life, but instead it ended up being a very traumatic experience for her. And then how she was able to project that into Feyre's pregnancy, like, and use that as a coping mechanism was just such an incredible story. If you're watching the podcast, like the mannerisms that she has, the way that she holds herself, it just reminds me so much of Aelin, Feyre, Bryce, Nesta, like all of these characters. You can tell that she brought out like her own personal journey to start writing these characters and then put them in this series. And I think that's why we have like so much emotion when we are reading through these books, is because she's pouring her heart into these characters as she's writing them. And one of the things that I found really interesting is how she's able to like separate herself like as an author and as a person, right? Because as an author, she wants to tell Tamlin's story, right? She wants to not necessarily give him a redemption story, but she wants to, I guess, explain maybe the trauma that he had, growing up, and why he is the way he is, and why he doesn't have the mental capacity to, not be Tamlin. But on the other hand, I mean, she has friends that have been in domestic violence situations, and she has talked to them about this. And how do you write this story about Tamlin? And personally, I don't think Tamlin deserves a story. I think there's so many other characters in the Maas universe that deserve for their story to be told. As far as I'm concerned, yeah, Tamlin's story is, yeah, he had a traumatic childhood, and he decided to pass that trauma on to everybody else. Because again, I think it'll be very difficult to try to write anything about Tamlin without justifying what he did. So I don't know. I'm really excited about finishing up Crescent City, and then oh man, we're gonna have some time. We're gonna have some time on our hands before the next Acotar books come out for sure.